Hey guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Spartan Spotlight podcast. I'm Justin Thind. I'm here with my co-host Corey Robinson. We work for SpartanMag.com. Go check us out. And today we're joined by the first commit of the 2022 class, and that's Kris Phillips, offensive guard out of Georgia. Thanks for joining us today, Kris.
How you doing?
Good. So I guess right away the fans are going to want to know the basic, straightforward question of why Michigan State? What'd you like about Michigan State that you committed so early? What? Yeah. So like, tell us a little bit about Michigan State.
First and foremost, my relationship with Coach Cap. Coach Cap has been checking on me a lot. Um, and him and my coach have a real good relationship. So it was like Coach Cap, my coach was like Coach Cap is a real good guy. I should put my trust in him. So I had to look into it and actually see if that's where I wanted to go. And I made my decision, and I wanted to choose Michigan State.
So then when it did come time to commit, Justin and I actually knew about it ahead of time. So we were able to talk to you before. But once you got to call Coach Cap and commit, what was that like? And was he the coach you talked to? And kind of what was his message and reaction to you committing?
Well, Coach Cap reaction was kind of crazy because honestly, like I've talked to Coach Cap on the phone a few times, and he don't sound like a guy that'll get like too excited, but he was screaming through the phone. Like it was crazy his reaction.
So I guess going through the whole timeline, like when did MSU first start reaching out to you, and like how often did you talk to him throughout the process, and like when did you kind of know that you wanted to commit?
Um, well, I actually followed them, and I followed them on Twitter before, and uh, I followed Coach Cap on Twitter, and then I think it took him like 2 weeks or so to follow me back. It's just like Michigan State has always been a school that I wanted to go to. It was really top three. It was between Michigan State, Michigan, and Alabama, and I really looked into Michigan State, and I really like Michigan State, so that's what really led up to the decision.
Yeah. So it sounds like you wanted to actually be on the winning side of the rivalry games then between the two schools.
Yeah.
So we kind of talked to you a little bit before we started recording tonight and found out something new that you're actually from Detroit area. So you just want to let everybody know how that went, where when you left Detroit and where you've been since then. Just kind of give them a background of you coming up.
So I left Detroit in 2013, and then I moved from Michigan to Alabama. And then once I was in Alabama, that's when I really got into football in middle school. So after my middle school year, I moved from Alabama to Georgia in 2018. So that's where I really started getting into football was in middle school. So yeah, that journey was crazy. It was a crazy journey.
So what's kind of your first memory of playing football? How did that kind of go for you?
Well, when I was little, I think I was about 8 years old. I played for the East Side Colts, and I really didn't like football. I was a basketball guy, so my first time in pads was kind of weird. So it was going good until they made us hit. And I got ran over, and ever since then, I really never liked basketball up until middle school. So that it was I was embarrassed that day, but I regained confidence.
Uh, Looking at your tape, it seems to be the other way around now, where you're the one hitting the guys and putting those guys on their back and making them question how much they love football.
Yeah, now it's like I feed off contact, so I love contact now. So
So I guess what now that you're committed, what do you look for out of Michigan State in terms of like how the season unfolds, like what you look for when you're watching a game or two? Like how do you kind of view the program? What are some things you look for now moving forward?
uh, I really watch to see how the O line react to the defense. Sometimes I watch they pass block and they pass protect, and I watch they run block to see if they a run team or a pass team. So that's really what I look into when I watch Michigan State and see how they play.
So, being from Georgia, and I know you watched the Michigan State game, a lot of the Georgia kids had huge games that day. I think they accounted for all the touchdowns, leading receivers, then a few defenders on the team. So, what's it mean to see that they're taking guys from down in Georgia, bringing them up here, and having so much success on the field?
It's all about the work you put in. Like I put in a lot of hard work. My brother helped me because he played for Alabama A&M. He was a left tackle or he was a right tackle, and it's really about the hard work that you put in and patience. So to have Coach Cap follow me and call me and notice that I'm a hard working lineman, it was really a blessing.
Touching on that Michigan game a little bit, one of the things that a lot of people noticed was that a lot of true freshmen were playing. And as a recruit, is that something that kind of sticks out to you? Or would you be like, either way, I'm about to be playing early just because I know myself? Or is that actually a real selling point, something that you pay attention to? Like, okay, they got a lot of freshmen playing. That's a place I kind of want to go to. So does that weigh in your decision at all? Or is that not really a factor?
No, that actually weighed in on my decision because honestly, I know if I go there, I'm going to be a workhorse and I'm going to go there and outwork everybody. Because me personally, I don't like being outworked. Uh, it's just the mindset that I have. I want to go in there and earn my spot. I don't want it to be given to me. I want it to be earned. So I know if I go to Michigan State, I'm not gonna start right away, but I know if I go there, I will have some playing time. So that was really something that weighed in on my decision.
Yeah.
What was your thoughts with on Coach Tucker and just kind of how he carries himself and his program, from kind of watching from afar, obviously, but they're pretty active on social media?
Honestly, Coach Tucker, I think he carries the program pretty well. Coach Tucker is a calm guy, and I honestly think that Coach Tucker is a great coach, and he knows what he's doing with the program. So yeah, Coach Tucker's a good guy too. Yeah, he's a good guy.
How would you describe yourself as a player? Just what is Michigan State fans? What can they expect out of Big Dooley?
I know a lot of hard work. They can expect me to go out there and perform very, very well. I'm going to put in a lot of work because I don't want to let them down. That's something that's always stands by me. I don't want to let no one down. So I'm gonna keep going and keep striving for greatness. So that's something that they can look for in me.
All right, awesome. So now that the fans know a little bit about what they can expect from you on the field, tell us about going into a game. What's on your playlist? Who are your rap top five?
Ooh, rap top five. Number one is Lil Baby.
All right, good.
I don't know if y'all know this rapper, but his name is Rilo Rodriguez.
He killed that verse
Yeah,
on the Lil Baby My Turn feature.
yeah. Rilo, no cap.
Yeah.
If it's a long bus ride to get my mind right or to have my mind loosened, I'll probably listen to a little bit of Juice WRLD.
Okay. Okay.
And to get hype, I listen to Meek Mill.
All right. Okay. All right. I appreciate that. That's a unique list because like not many people put Rilo on there. But like you had to put Lil Baby or else you're not from Georgia really. So I see that. But yeah, Meek and Lil Baby, they've been in my top five since they came out. So definitely salute to you for that.
Yeah.
So off the football field, what's kind of some of the things you do on your downtime when you're not playing football that you enjoy doing?
I mean, I like if I'm not playing football, I'll probably be either playing the game with some of my teammates or I like going out to just enjoy myself, get some time to myself. So I either go out or I just play the game.
Do you Xbox or PlayStation?
PlayStation.
Me too. I don't think Justin is though.
Nah, I just picked up the new Xbox Series X this morning. So can't say I'm a fan of that answer, but it is what it is. Anything else, Corey?
No, I think I got it covered, but I definitely think, you being the first one in the 22 class, we'll definitely have to have you on a few times as the recruitment goes and kind of get your thoughts on how things are going as everything progresses.
So, was that one of the factors in your decision being the first 2022 commit? Is that something like you wanted to do, or did that just happen to be the case just because you liked Michigan State enough right now?
Honestly, I did not know that I was one of the I was the first 2022 class to be like to commit. So for that to happen, it was crazy because I remember we talked about it, and
Yeah.
before I posted it, you was like they're going crazy. So
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like as soon as I posted it, 4 minutes later, I had about 300 to 400 likes, and
Yeah.
it was just going up after that.
Yeah, because I know when we kind of found out that it was happening, Corey was the one that gave me a heads up about it. We kind of like got the fan base ready a little bit, but like without giving anything away, we're just like keep your eyes out in the next few days. And so like there was a bunch of anticipation for like 3 days. People are like, when's this kid committing? This mystery commit? When's it happening? And we're just like, stay tuned. And then you put out, you let us know that you're about to do it any minute, and then I dropped a tweet like first committed 2022 class. Everyone peeped the timeline here in a sec. And everybody started like DMing me. They're like, who is it? Who is it? And I just knew like the second you tweeted it, that's exactly how the reaction you were going to get. That's how that was going to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, I still got people liking my stuff right now, following me on Instagram. To be honest, I don't know like how they got my Instagram, but
I put it out
I
there. I made sure to put that on the story.
oh, okay, yeah, because like as soon as like when people started liking my tweet and retweeting it,
Yeah.
I got tons of followers. I think I was before everybody started following me. I think I was at 1,040, and now
Yeah.
I'm at like 1,200 or something.
Got you. Yeah, because I found
Yeah.
I found the Instagram a few days before because I was trying to find like a picture to put on your rival's profile, and it's
Hmm.
like I always go check the Instagram, and I was like, all right, I gotta make sure to make a note and kind of put his IG out there on the story after he commits. So hopefully that did the trick.
Yeah, it was crazy, and the fan base at Michigan State is crazy. I had people texting me like telling me that I was their biggest fan. I haven't even touched the field yet. Like
Uh,
it's like it was just so crazy. Like, and then I had people asking me for advice, like how did you get the stars, or how what was your key to getting colleges to notice you? And I was just telling them it's all about patience and like hard work. You can't go out there and then DM a coach and say, hey, look at my film. You know, they have to they have to you got to send it, and then you have to wait. You can't keep rushing it. If you rush it, then they're not going to look at
That's definitely
yeah,
good insight.
definitely. And then, I mean, up here too, the Michigan State fans are starving for big offensive linemen, and you check the box there. That's definitely the biggest change since Mel Tucker and Cap have came in, is they've reestablished what linemen, and they're getting a lot bigger guys, and the fan base is ready for that because they know once guys like you and the 21 kids get up here that you guys are gonna literally and figuratively pave the way to the championships that they want to get back to.
Yeah, and that's one thing why I committed, because you see all these other linemen going to Alabama and Georgia, Auburn. I want it to be like different. I want to pave my own way and lead something. You know, I want to be able to I want to be able to have a line that I know will pave the way for Michigan State. So
Yeah.
that was one of the main reasons why I committed to Michigan State.
Yeah, so that's all we had. So we really appreciate you joining us today, Kris. Best of luck with the rest of your high school career, and thanks again for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Hopefully you enjoyed that interview with Kris Phillips. Just touching a little bit on the recruiting stretch here in the last few days. That's how we're going to close this out. But so yeah, so Phillips was the first commit here in this run of 4 commitments, and he committed on Sunday night. He was a guy that Coach Cap kind of prioritized for the offensive line. Fits the whole mission of revamping the size, as Phillips is already 6'5", 335. And kind of continuing that trend, we had seen commitments from Rayshon Benny and commitments from Brandon Baldwin. And then we even had a little bit of speed earlier on Tuesday and Stephon Johnson. But yeah, so Baldwin was another commit from the offensive line that kind of caught people's eye because of the size. Corey, do you want to talk a little bit about Baldwin?
Yeah, Brandon Baldwin, he's at Independence Community College, or JUCO. So he's a guy 6'7", between 305 and 315. But he looks skinny if you see him. So he's got a lot of weight. So he'll be able to hit 335, 340 and move around well. So that's huge to have a guy like that. He was a kid that was originally from Southfield A&T, is where he played high school. He kind of focused more on basketball through high school while he played football. But after getting through high school, he kind of discovered that basketball wasn't going to take him where he hoped it was. So he went to Independence in Kansas, which is one of the best JUCOs around. He took a year to get his body right and really crack into the books. So after doing that, he was primed to have a big year this year, which COVID changed the plans by wiping that out. So they didn't have a season, but they're scrimmaging a lot. There's quite a bit of tape that has surfaced watching him kind of do that. And you see an athlete that really slides his feet well, very raw, but he's got every intangible that you can't teach with the natural bend and athleticism. And then, of course, the size at 6'7" with a huge wingspan.
Yeah, definitely. And I think when you have a coach as good as Coach Cap with the offensive line, you might not need to see as much of a finished product, because he knows that he can kind of transform that part of it once the kid gets here. But obviously they must have still seen enough, because they're not taking total projects. But that's obviously something to consider too. When you have a kid that's that huge, that's the thing you can't teach. And then Coach Cap can do the rest for the most part. And then right on that same day as Baldwin committed, there was another commit that some MSU fans might have heard about, kind of under the radar. That was Rayshon Benny that committed, the Rivals top 100 defensive tackle from Oak Park High School. He was on our podcast a couple weeks ago where he gave a lot of great answers about what he liked about Michigan State, what he thought about Coach Tucker. He was joined by his high school running back, Davion Prim, who's also committed to Michigan State, on that podcast episode. And they had a lot to say about what they're liking about Michigan State right now. And it seems like Rayshon Benny liked Michigan State enough to go ahead and make the commitment. Even though Michigan was leading, it seemed like for a lot of it, Michigan State never was really out of it, as Corey had been trying to tell people for the longest time. And seems like that kind of got his commitment. And another thing was, he's adamant about the fact that the Michigan State game didn't really impact his decision. So that kind of tells people that he was sold on the vision and the actual kind of insight that he had on the staff and the program. And he didn't necessarily need that game to validate his choice. And that's something he said in numerous interviews, and he says it adamantly. So that's another interesting point. And Corey, do you want to talk a little bit about Rayshon Benny, even though we kind of know how good he is and just how dominant of an addition that is?
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Rayshon, you got arguably the best two-way lineman in the country, where if he wanted to be, he would be a top 100 offensive lineman, as well as a top 100 defensive tackle, defensive end. But Michigan State and Rayshon want to be as a defensive lineman. I think you'll see, especially early on, I think you'll see him line up quite a bit at strong side to get him on the field, because one, he has the athleticism and strength to do that, but two, Michigan State's defensive tackle room is in much better shape right now than their defensive ends. So Benny is a kid that is physically gifted enough that he's going to come in, and as long as he stays healthy, you're going to see him play as a true freshman and make an impact, and he's probably going to start as a true freshman because he's that good of a kid. And just even beyond on the field, I've been doing this for I think 5 or 6 years, interviewing recruits and all that, and I would definitely put him at the top of the list, or right towards the top of the list of one of the most mature guys I've ever talked with. He's a big picture thinker. He sees everything. A great student, so you're not taking any risks with him. Where sometimes in the past you would see a guy that was supremely talented, but you almost had to babysit him and hold your breath that he didn't do anything stupid while he was on campus. With Rayshawn, there's no red flags there, and he's gonna make the program better on the field and off the field and in the classroom. So you can't say enough good things of the importance of getting Rayshawn Benny in the class.
And then speaking of the academics, I remember when we had the podcast, he was quick to answer that he really liked the tour of the business college and that he wanted to major in business. And then when he was asked that during his actual commitment live stream about what he wanted to major in, he answered business management right away. So he seems like a kid that knows what he wants to do even after football, even though his talent should probably take him pretty far in football too, without having to use that degree just yet. And then the other commit that continued this stretch of 4 commits was the most recent one, and that is Stephon Johnson from Venice High School in Florida. He was a Rutgers commit at one point, and on Tuesday he committed to Michigan State, and he's teammates with Charles Brantley over there down in Florida. And Corey, do you want to talk a little bit about his addition to the recruiting class?
Yeah, definitely. That one I'll start it off with. It's one of the more wild recruitments that I've covered. When he decommitted from Rutgers, I believe in May, everybody expected it to be a flip and be done. Nothing crazy. Then he decided to drag it out. Nobody really understood why. And I was just like, well, I mean, my answer was the guys from Florida, a lot of them are just different dudes. They have a different beat that they're marching to. They're just different. And he did nothing to make me think differently with his recruitment today. I had heard all the way up to it that it's probably not going to be Michigan State. It's probably not going to be Michigan State up to about, less than a half hour before he announced publicly is when it actually flipped to he was going to be Michigan State. So he left a lot of people in the dark, I guess, would be the best way to put it.
Yeah.
As far as what they're getting, he's a 6'1", probably about 170 pounds, defensive back, but he also has a huge role on the offense where he generally scores, I think, 2 or 3 touchdowns a game, it seems, whenever I check on Venice to watch him and Chuck Brantley. But yeah, he's a good athlete with good top end speed, very long arms for his frame. He's got to work a little on the stuff that you can teach, like the back pedal, get a little stronger in the weight room. But obviously, those are the things that if there's a hole, you want it to be something that's correctable, and getting in the weight room will correct the strength. And working with Harlan Barnett, one of the most talented defensive back coaches in the country, will get the technique part down. So, yeah, I mean, it's a guy that, there's some questions with it, but he's also a guy that could make some of those people with questions look silly in a couple years after he's gotten into the weight room and he's gotten around Harlan Barnett.
Yeah, definitely. So that wraps up the run of commitments here that we were going to recap. And hopefully you enjoyed this episode with our interview with Kris Phillips and our little recruiting recap here at the end. Thanks for joining us for this episode, and see you next time.